One of the most important and efficient ways I personally learned how to scratch was through learning scratch patterns. Now within those scratch patterns, we have shorter scratch phrases. Now we're gonna be going from beginner all the way to advanced. So we'll be having things like the baby, the chirp, scribble, stab scratch, transformer scratch, one click flare, two click flare, and the crab scratch as well. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. So there's our first beginner scratch phrase there. Now you could also call this a scratch pattern as well, because everything I'm showing you, you can use these to essentially on the last 4 bars before you actually transition into a new song, whether it's a phrase or a pattern, you can insert this there, then drop your track to actually transition. So there's our second beginner scratch phrase. Let's break that down one more time. We're starting this with a baby scratch. Then we have a chirp scratch. Then we're just letting our platter go and then doing a quick pullback. Then we have another chirp scratch and then we're dropping. Again. Now in this example, we're introducing the transformer scratch. So we have this baby scratch first, then we have the chirp, then we're just dropping that track. And after we drop the track, we're just cutting that sound out. So we can hear, catch the platter, close that crossfader. Now we have 2 clicks back. And then all we're doing is we're opening this crossfader again to then drop the track. And that would be your actual transition point, okay? So again, catch. Okay, just like that. At the end of a lot of your scratch patterns, remember that you can always use that close the crossfader, 2 clicks back, which are 2 transformer clicks back, and then dropping your platter or your jog wheel, whatever you have. You can definitely use that, and I'll show you a few different ways you can use that in a few more examples that we're gonna go over. So let's hop into the next one. All right, DJs, now we're moving from our beginner scratch phrases and patterns into our intermediate ones, okay? So I went ahead and bumped up the BPM a little bit, and in this particular scratch phrase, we added the one click flare orbit technique, okay? So let's go over that one more time without the beat. All right, so first, we're just gonna start with our crossfader close. We're gonna open our crossfader as we drop the track. Then we're gonna close that crossfader. We have 2 clicks back, which are gonna be 2 transformer clicks. Now our crossfader is right here in the center. Now we're just gonna go ahead and do that one click flare orbit. And then we're dropping, okay? So one more time, dropping, 2 clicks back. Now we have the one click flare orbit. And then we're dropping. So there's another 4-bar scratch phrase that you can now add on to one of our beginner scratch phrases, which could then make an 8-bar scratch pattern. So let me go ahead and show you exactly what I mean by that. So right there is an example of me using an intermediate scratch phrase along with the beginner scratch phrase that we just learned and putting that together to form an 8-bar scratch pattern, okay? So now let's go ahead and move on. All right, DJ, so here we're now introducing the stab scratch. So let's go over this one more time. First, we're starting off with the stab. All we're doing for that is we're starting with our crossfader close, pushing that platter forward, and then pulling it back. But all we're doing is we're making that quick motion, just quickly opening and closing that crossfader to make the quick sound. So after that, we have some transformers going forward and back. Then we just have a chirp scratch, and then we're dropping. Okay, so again. Now, as you can see here, the sound of 2 transformers going forward and back is actually very similar to the one click flare orbit. However, they sound completely different. As you can hear, the one click flare orbit has the versus using the transformer is more like da, 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 da. Now, of course, you can play around with the transformer scratches to make it sound more similar to the one-click flare orbit. However, I definitely recommend that you learn using the one-click flare orbit the way it's done, as well as using the transformer in that similar way, because both will help you in different ways based on what scratches you're doing around them. Okay. One thing to also remember is you can do that transformer scratch when you're going forward and back. You can hold on to the platter or your jog wheel the entire time, or you can actually let it go. So you can do just like this. Or you can do it like this. Again, that's another way that you can be creative and make things sound exactly how you want them to sound, okay? So now let's go ahead and take that particular scratch phrase and add that on to a previous scratch phrase. Again, there's an example of me combining two separate scratch phrases and then making that into one 8-bar scratch pattern, okay? So now let's keep on moving forward. All right, DJs, now we're moving into more of the advanced techniques. So this is gonna be the 2-click flare orbit and then a chirp scratch. So essentially we have the 2-click flare orbit here. If you do want to learn that 2-click flare orbit, I do have tutorials specifically on that technique. Now let's take that particular technique and add it on to another one. All right, DJs, there's another advanced scratch phrase that we just added on to the last scratch phrase that we just learned. Now let's go ahead and break down that second scratch phrase, okay? Essentially, all we have here is we're dropping our track first. Now we're doing a crab scratch. So that's gonna be 3 clicks backwards. Just like that. And then we're dropping our track again, catching it, closing that crossfader, and then like I said in the beginning, we just have that drop and then 2 transformers back. Now we're dropping again. So from the top we have so there you have 2 advanced scratch phrases. Also remember that you can use just the 4-bar phrases or patterns to make an actual scratch pattern as well. But based on your particular skill level, definitely don't try to go directly into the 2-click flare orbit if you don't know how to do it already. Definitely take it slow. But again, the focus here is to just put these different scratch phrases together. This will definitely help you with freestyling as you continue to put these together on your own. So there's a quick example of me showing you all the same essential 4-bar scratch pattern. However, in the second example, we're doing that same 4-bar scratch phrase twice. Okay, so if you are an intermediate DJ, scratch DJ, or you're an advanced, especially scratch DJ, try to do some of these scratch phrases in that double time so you can really gain your speed. If you're a beginner scratch DJ, definitely do them slower first because you always can increase speed over time. However, the most important thing is that you're doing these as cleanly as possible and as accurately as possible as well, okay? So there you have it. If you did enjoy this video, please go ahead and press that like button as well as press that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on so you know the next time that I upload a video. And with that said, I will catch y'all on the next flight.
All I want and all I want is you. You're my one desire, you're the one I know. Don't stress, let it go. Loco, Andre, so lose control.